We are back, Personal Healthcare Reform Talk Show on Pegasus Netwaves, taking your health to a higher level. And, of course, we're about to hit health in the news, hitting the hot list. Before that, hop online, check out ClintonFuquay.com, ClintonPrograms.com, and PersonalHealthCareReform.com. And, of course, also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, LinkedIn. If it's on social media, I'm probably there someplace. Today is going to be about, digging it. So, and before we do that, let's send a little word out to all my health partners. So starting off with Healthy Home Company, take the toxic test. That way you can keep things clean because it's spring. We're going into summertime. It's allergy season, all kinds of stuff. You're doing spring cleaning, you might as well do it toxic free. So go online, take the toxic test. In fact, if you go to ClintonFuquay.com, you'll see a cool little streamer that's going across the top of the website now. So click on there and take the toxic test, and I bet you with one product you're going to score over a 3 of anything in your house. If you score over a 3, that's bad, by the way. That just means there's a lot of toxic residues in your house that you need to get rid of. We've got a special guest on that coming up later on in the show. And I do want to do a shout out, and this is actually on a different radio station, so yeah, I know. Producer's like, what? So pop out, listen to this one, and then come back to Pegasus Netwaves. But Divas Radio on KLIF, 7 to 8 Central Standard Time, Sunday nights. I've had Amber Rogers on here before. She's got her own radio show over there, so pop over there for now and then come back to Pegasus Netwaves. But yeah, Healthy Home Company, Med-Call Assist, because, well, if you're out, you happen to be at the lake or something, and somebody gets injured, having an ER doctor on the phone is helpful. So go to ClintonFuquay.com, look at Med-Call Assist, click on the link there, take a look at it, download the app. Covers a family of 8 for about $35 a month, which ain't bad for their services. Actually, it's not that it ain't bad. That's amazing for their services. Also, Human, helping unite mankind in nutrition. Of course, I'm working with them on the corporate side. This way, all the people get their snacks. You can have your cold fish and have some health too, okay? Because it's better goldfish. And of course, it's going to be hot. It's going to be steamy. Summertime's coming up. You need some good clothing for that. Kinesi, Active Cotton, awesome stuff. Of course, I had the owner of the company on here several months ago. Go back, listen to that show so you can hear what it's all about. And going to be some interesting stuff coming up with them later on. And of course, IdeaLife, go on, take the free health assessment. And, well, you know, I've said it 10 million times. I've got a special guest coming on about that subject as well later on this year. And we're going to talk about specifically what's in IdeaLife, how it came to be. And also, you know, if you want to look good, you got to eat. You got to eat well. And so I've got another health partner, Icon Meals. They do customized diets. Okay, so you go online, look at what they've got to offer. They do meals every week. You can custom design your own meals. It's awesome service. They ship it directly to you anywhere in the U.S. It's freeze packed. It's awesome stuff. It's delicious. Believe me, their head chef is a real chef. And Living Healthy, Living Smart Club, doing lots of stuff with them. We're about to kick off some big stuff through that online project. And, of course, if you haven't read some of my articles, look at Offbeat Business, which is another show on here, by the way, which you really need to listen to. I do a monthly column in their magazine, also Living the Dream magazine, do a monthly column there. So look at those. And for some nonprofits I'm working with, Invest, doing a lot of stuff with Invest. They actually help out with making sure that police officers and first responders have protective gear that they need because they do need it badly. So we help take care of that. And if you purchase stuff through Healthy Home Company, we get to send stuff to them through them. St. Baldrick's, of course, you know I'm bald. I'm not that bald anymore. I'm actually just growing out pretty nicely. But, of course, St. Baldrick's happened. I've still got the link on my page. Go on there. We're still taking donations. We actually take donations year-round through the Shavy pages. So help out with that. And Guardians for Heroes, Carry the Load, coming up in May. I'll be doing that with the Kyle family again. We'll be walking miles and miles and miles to help raise some money for injured veterans. And, of course, once again, Beast Mode for the Brave is another thing that they're doing. So, with that, into health in the news. We're going to make this fast because, well, I got all kinds of stuff going on, apparently. If you don't believe me, hit rewind. Actually, if you could hit rewind. Otherwise, listen to the show again. So, health in the news. Hitting the hot list. Have you ever had one of your friends come up and say, I'm just so fat? It happens a lot right now, especially whenever you're trying on swimsuits, okay? This is basically a form of self-fat shaming. Bad stuff. Help them get positive. Great article in Prevention Magazine on this one. I suggest you go through and read it because it will help out with whenever somebody does say that, especially guys, whenever your girlfriend says this, it's going to keep you out of trouble. And you want to stay out of trouble. So whenever your girlfriend comes up and says, I'm so fat right now, read Prevention Magazine. They'll tell you how to get through this whole issue and come out looking very well on the other side. And for losing weight, consistency is key in getting and staying healthy. So forget all the fad diets up and down, yo-yo stuff. Find one thing, stick with it, okay, for more than a month. Interesting study, Journal of Clinical Psychology. 69% of antidepressant users, that's everybody taking SSRIs, are not depressed, have never been depressed, have no symptoms of depression. 69% of people that are on these depression medications have no symptoms of depression. So I'll let you come to your own conclusion on that one. Cool one from Journal of Pediatric Research. Probiotics are shown to decrease ADHD and autism symptoms and decrease the occurrence of ADHD and autism. So for all the parents out there, if you're not giving your kids some probiotics, you might want to look into that, especially if they have some ADHD or autism as well. It helps out with getting things to calm down. Basically, if your gut's upset, your mind's going to be a mess. Actually, I'm going to skip this one for a second. Paleo diets has been shown to be healthier than grain-based diets. And this is from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Another cool thing is there's a new little thing out there called flexitarians. I'm doing air quotes right now, flexitarians. So get ready, you're going to hear a lot more about flexitarians and how we're flexitarians and stuff like that, which technically we are, but it's another word for omnivore because we eat everything. Okay? That's how we're made. And we're flexible. We can eat a lot of different things at different times of the year. GMOs. GMOs are found to be safe and produce more only by GMO paid studies. Imagine that. So if you're funding your studies, you're probably going to come out looking pretty good. When everybody else does a study, they come out looking horrible. So there's that. And one last little thing before we get going here. Because I like picking on the ACA, so let's pick on the ACA. $5.4 billion. That's a lot of money. That's how much has gone into all the state websites for all the Obamacare websites. Okay, $5.4 billion. Now, if they didn't do the websites and they took this $5.4 billion and did something else with it, they probably could have covered everybody's health care with that, I would think. So there's that, and that is Health and News, and we're going to come back here in a little bit, and we're going to be digging in the dirt with Miss Anita Mills. We're going to talk about gardening, what to do for this summer, and actually spring, going into the summer and into the fall. That way you get the best growth. And there's a drought going on, apparently, especially if you live in California. You're listening in California, big drought stuff over there, so we're going to talk about that and how to survive that, how to have your garden survive that and grow your own food, so you're not to worry about all the farmers that are having issues there. That's it for Health and News. We'll be back in a second.
Who out there has a New Year's resolution to lose some weight and get healthier? I've got the place for you, Downsize Fitness. Downsize Fitness is a very special place for individuals that have 50 or more pounds to lose. We teach fitness classes for all sizes and levels. We teach nutrition classes. We have support groups. We have an awesome community. And this is for sustainable weight loss and a healthy lifestyle change. We're not going to beat you up and run you into the ground like some of these other weight loss places do. We're here to support you and teach you how to make healthy lifestyle change that are sustainable for the rest of your life. For more information, give us a call at 469-206-3756 or look us up at www.downsizefitness.com. Again, that's 469-206-3756 or www.downsizefitness.com.
Hello, this is PJ Abbott, former IndyCar, NASCAR, Rallycross driver. I'm in partnership with a company that is supporting our officers all over the country. 40% of our officers, almost 400,000 officers today in the United States alone, do not have a protective vest. The Healthy Home Company, Project Zane, and our partners are helping this cause through healthyhomecompanY.com/InvestUSA. Today you can bless a vest by offering a donation to help them in their cause. So please join us by going to projectzane.com or to takethetoxictest.com/InvestUSA. That's takethetoxictest.com/InvestUSA. And help us by joining forces with these two great companies to make your home a healthier place to raise a family.
All right, we are back. Personal Health Care Reform Talk Show on Pegasus Net Waves, and today we're going to get down in the dirt. And probably a little sore, because my guess is a little sore today after putting in some gardens. So you actually know that she is in it. She knows what she's talking about because she does it all day. So I've got Anita Mills in with me today, and we met a couple months ago, sat down, chatted for a little bit, through a mutual friend of ours who I had on the show previously last year, talking about the same thing. So now Anita is here to talk about gardening everything and getting into the summer months. So let's start off, Anita, let's get into some of your background, how you got into organic gardening, and because I know you've been doing it for a while, and basically how you got into it, and what you're doing with it now.
Okay, well, first I want to say thank you for having me on the show. I love to talk about gardening and educate people. I'm Anita Mills. My company is Anita's Arbor, and I have been gardening all of my life, specifically organic gardening since the late 1960s, when Organic Gardening Magazine and Mother Earth News were printed on newsprint, not slick paper. Okay. So I go back to the dinosaur age. I like to use the story that my first adventure into gardening was a crop failure. When I was 3, we must have been talking about growing things in nursery school. And so I came home all excited, and my dad turned over a bit of lawn, probably about 6 foot by 6 foot. We planted corn. It was growing quite tall, but then I was only about 3 feet tall, so who knows how tall it really was. And I was delighted, and we had a big rainstorm one night, and I came out in the morning and it was all flat. Mm-hmm. But I kept persevering. When we were in California, the only way we could get fried green tomatoes and okra was by growing our own. Mm-hmm. So my family gardened out of necessity and out of choice. Wherever I've lived, I have gardened, even though my profession was in investment banking and business consulting. But about 2 years ago, I became semi-retired, and then I could turn to what I really love. And since then, I have worked for a year setting up the growing operation for an organic food co-op, where I started with a lot overgrown with brush. We ended up with fencing, greenhouse, chickens, growing spaces, and it gave me a chance to experiment with all sorts of different types of gardening and to teach and show it.
We're springtime right now. We're going to be venturing into summertime. Of course, Dallas gets kind of hot in the summer, a little bit humid, stuff like that. So for everybody out there, can we talk a little bit about transitioning from what people need to be doing in springtime to get ready for summer, what they need to be doing in the summertime, and then what to do to get ready for the fall, which, of course, in Dallas, fall didn't really happen until November, but it's better to plan ahead.
Yes. Well, actually, my approach is not to have a spring planting, summer planting, fall planting, but to merge the three. Actually, winter planting also. I interplant. For instance, I'll plant radish, lettuce, and summer squash in the spring. The radishes will be ready to harvest in 4 weeks, leaving room for the lettuces. Then the lettuces, when they're harvested, the squash is taking over the space. So I have utilized a lot of space and gotten multiple harvests off the same space. Another thing is to plant chard and bush beans together. The chard lasts year-round. The bush beans, when they're finished with the heat of the summer, you can plant cabbage in the same space. In late summer, I plant carrots among my tomatoes because the tomatoes act as a nurse plant and shade the carrots during the heat of the summer. And when the tomatoes are ready to come out, the carrots are ready to go. So it's just a seamless gardening period. And chard, by the way, is a perennial here. Everyone treats it as an annual, but I have had chard that lasted 2.5 years before I got tired of it and took it out. And I talked to a lady who still had a chard plant going after 5 years.
Wow.
It's amazing. Also, one other thing, interplanting confuses pests. They go for big globs of plantings. Mm-hmm. And if you have many different things, they get very confused and go someplace else, to somebody else's garden.
Well, that's good. That helps.
That's right.
So if you want to keep your garden pest-free, build a lot of stuff and confuse them so they'll just leave.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. Anything else specifically, especially for, Dallas is a little different other than you can do indoor gardening and stuff like that, but anything specific for, like, Dallas area people need to be concerned with, just because of the amount of sun and the heat that we get here?
Yes. In fact, I was talking with some folks with a roof garden. They're putting one in this week and next. And they're putting their containers on casters so they can move them around the roof. And I suggested that they want to shade their plants from the hot, late afternoon sun. You want the morning sun rather than the afternoon sun in summer. However, they want to move the planters over to the other side when they'll get, in the winter, when they'll get the heat mass from the southern wall. So you want 6 to 8 hours of preferably morning sunlight for most plants. Very few plants need less than that, except maybe lettuces and some of the greens.
All right. Very good. And of course, I know gardening growing anything is mostly about the soil, because if the soil is no good, then you're not going to get very good growth, and the nutrient value of the foods coming out of it is just not
That's
that great.
true.
So, what do people need to look at whenever they are cultivating? They're going through, they're taking care of their soil, or whenever they're getting new soil to start a project. What are some things they need to look at as far as getting the best quality soil for what they're doing, getting the best mix in the blend, because there's different mixes and blends out there of soils. There's bacterial components as well, as far as making sure there's a good amount of good bacteria, beneficial bacteria within the soil as well. This way, that helps nourish and feeds the plants. So, what do people need to look at as far as that goes before they actually get into? If they're getting into gardening, if they're looking at it, because it's starting to get more and more popular every year.
Yes. I tell people that what goes into the soil goes into the plant and goes into their bodies. So staying organic, you want the maximum number of minerals, trace minerals particularly, not just the standard NPK. There are so many minerals that are just minute amounts that our bodies need and plants need. So, for instance, for the people I was talking to last night, they said, well, we want to get soil from someplace and put in the planters. I said, no, go all compost, because compost is organic matter, and it will hold moisture. It will also drain well, and it will, once you inoculate it with more bacteria, like with compost tea, worm castings, rabbit manure, then it's going to take on a life of its own, and it's going to be so rich and grow plants so well that they will just multiply. I also use trace mineral products like azomite or diatomaceous earth, because azomite particularly has almost 70 trace minerals in it. And it comes from a mining operation in Utah that took an ancient seabed and the volcanic ash on top of it, so it has a plethora of minerals. It's wonderful.
Okay.
And then mulch. Mulch helps the plants. It also shields the soil from the hot sun. And I say, do not till once you have put in your garden, because every time you turn that soil over, you break up that colony of microorganisms. It's like somebody coming in and bombing our world.
Okay.
So
the annual tilling is no.
that's
till
right. Just
once
keep
and leave
mulching.
it. Okay.
Keep mulching, putting on fertilizer in minute amounts, and compost, and that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah. Speaking of compost, what's the best way for people to go about composting? I mean, if they want to do it themselves, and it's the whole, okay, we got the garbage basket. What do we put in the garbage basket? What do we put in the compost pile? Where do we keep the compost pile so it's not? I've heard of people keeping them in the house, but if you want to keep it outside, how do you go about doing that the best way?
Okay, compost needs 4 things. It needs water, it needs air, it needs something called brown, which is carbon, and it needs green, which is nitrogen. There are 3 basic methods of compost. One is the cold, and that's where you just throw everything on a pile, and about 2 years later, you pull the compost off the bottom, because compost happens, whatever we do. It happens faster if you pile things up and then turn them regularly, like once a week, once every 2 weeks. And the formula there is 3 parts of brown to 1 of green. What is green? Green is food waste, it's lawn clippings. The brown is leaves, straw. Manure would count as green because it's high in nitrogen. But wood chips, they're carbon. So if you go 3 carbon to 1 green, you're pretty good. And when you turn the pile, if it looks dry, add water. You should be able to pick up the compost or the composting mass, squeeze it, and get just a couple of drops of water, like a wet, damp sponge. And you can compost in 6 to 8 weeks that way. Okay. And then there is the super fast method called the Berkeley method, and that takes 18 days. And you structure everything. It goes 1 green to 25 to 30 parts carbon. It's piled up in a pile about 6 feet tall, sealed with brown, and on the 4th day you turn it. On the 6th, 8th, 10th, 12th, 14th, and 16th days you turn it. Again, watering is necessary. And on the 18th day you should have compost. But that's labor intensive.
Okay, that's like the big compost piles that we'll see on TV whenever somebody's I think I've seen this on CSI and a few other TV shows where they'll have like the huge composting pile, and it's like, man, how much stuff is in there?
Yes,
what does it take to do all that? So, okay, yeah, that's good. And also, I know you know Andrea, who runs Texas Worm Ranch. She's got all of her little red wigglers, and of course I know throwing those into the compost pile. That way they're in there munching and eating and helping compost, and of course they've got all the castings that are there as well, which helps out with soil quality. So, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm tossing red wigglers out there for everybody.
Yes, of course. There's worm composting,
Yeah.
and that's done on a slightly lower temperature level than the fast composting. But worm castings are just like honey. They're candy to the microorganisms. Mm-hmm. They truly enrich the soil, and they have the microorganisms within them, the bacteria. And the plants need... I'll launch off on a tangent here very quickly. Why you have to have microorganisms in the soil. The plant roots exude a carbohydrate which attracts the bacteria. The plant roots themselves cannot extract minerals from the soil. They use the bacteria to do it. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
So it's kind of like our gut.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, so word to the wise, if you're not taking probiotics, take probiotics and give some to your plants, too.
Yes, probiotics, wonderful.
Yes. Yeah, quit killing them off with all the antibiotics. So which I'm going to do another little shout out here. There's a product called Back to Feed that I need to send you information on this. I've got a friend of mine in Arizona that manufactures this to help get more probiotics into your soil.
Yes.
So it's actually feeding them and actually actively putting more into the soil, so you get better growth. And actually, I'm going to come back to that because we're about to hop into, because there's a whole drought thing going on, especially in California.
Yes.
If y'all haven't seen the news, California is going to start taxing people for taking long showers because of the drought conditions. So, and of course, we have a drought condition here in Texas. I know it's all rainy and everything in Dallas right now, but we've had 4 years of no rain, so we're playing catch up right now. So looking at that, what do people need to look at right now? As far as, we're still in the drought condition. We're supposed to come out of it in the next couple of years, look at the Farmer's Almanac, because it's all cyclic. But for momentarily, what do people need to look at for that? And even for, maintaining their land, using all the rainwater that we've got now, how to capture that, how to keep it, things like that. Since we're not being taxed for that yet, but I know they're doing that in Massachusetts. They're getting people for collecting rainwater.
That's true. In fact, this was the subject of my blog this week on my website, is 2 things you can do immediately, and that's plenty of compost, which holds the moisture, and mulch, as much as 6 inches of mulch on top of the soil, because the mulch functions in 2 ways, or 3 actually. It holds the moisture. It shades the plants and the soils so there is less evaporation. And then at night, it condenses moisture out of the air and makes it available to the plants. So it is, I call it magic. Mulch is magic. And it helps us borrow the rain on the way down to the aquifer. We don't want it running off into the storm drains. We want to keep it and send it to the aquifer where it can recharge.
Yeah. So this way we don't have all the runoff they have. So we have the big rain, and
yes,
you have little lakes and puddles made, and we want to capture that. So, okay, thank you.
Yes, I know we're close on time,
Yeah.
but I do want to say check my blog next week, because I'm going to talk about different ways of structuring a garden so that it can capture even more water.
Where's your blog at? What's the?
It is at my website, anitasarbor.com, ANITASARBOR.com.
Okay, perfect. One last thing. It's allergy season, it's springtime, so plants for the indoors. What are probably some of the best plants to have indoors that are allergen-free and that actually help get allergens out of the air and help purify the air within the house?
That's true. We have outgassing from all sorts of things, furniture, fabrics, and rugs. NASA did a study in the 1990s looking for plants that would cleanse air for deep space missions. One of the plants that came out was the spider plant. Another one is English ivy, which clears formaldehyde out of the air. Mums, once the blooms fade, the leaves keep pulling the toxic vapors out of the air. Wonderful to have those inside.
Okay. All right. So spider plants, they won't bite you.
That's exactly it. And they're beautiful when they start throwing out little babies and hang from a
mums and a little English ivy, and the English ivy will just make you want to have tea all day because they're very proper. British. So before we get out of here, how do people get a hold of you so you can go in and you can put a garden in and make it beautiful and show them how to do this stuff themselves?
You can email me at Anita, ANITA, at anitasarbor.com.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming on. And hope everybody out there, I hope you're taking notes, because that was a lot of information right there condensed down. We did a lot of composting in that. Some very good composting for you. So, Anita, thanks for coming on, and join us back again for the next show. The next show is going to be kind of a 3-part series with all kinds of stuff going on, talking about what kind of nutrients you need putting into your own soil within your body to get you healthy. So, thanks for coming on. And for everybody else out there, go to clintfuquay.com, personalhealthcarereform.com, and clintsprograms.com.